All right, y'all. Happy Hanukkah. Going through Maccabees. Um, we just read Second Maccabees 7. I'm gonna split these between different videos. I may condense them into just one full a video of all of these. This story just it gets to me. I always have to take a break out of it. It's so powerful. If you're a mother, read the valiant story in Second Maccabees chapter 7 of a woman with 7 courageous sons who defied Antiochus and pagan ways. Amazing story. But we've got a lot more to read. So we are going to get to 8. 2 Maccabees 8. Judas gathers men, prays, and wins victories. Then Judas Maccabeus and they that were with him were privily into the towns, and called their kinsfolk together, and took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion, and assembled about 6,000 men. And they called upon the Lord that he would look upon the people that was trodden down of all, and also pity the temple profaned by ungodly men, and that he would have compassion upon the city, sore defaced and ready to be made even with the ground, and hear the blood that cried unto him. And remember that wicked slaughter of harmless infants, and the blasphemies committed against his name, and that he would show his hatred against the wicked. What a valiant and godly way to pray. Not vengeance or evil upon somebody else, but that God would show his hatred against the wicked. That God would show his strength and his might to the wicked. Now when Maccabeus had his company about him, he could not be withstood by the heathen, for the wrath of the Lord was turned into mercy. Therefore he came at unawares, and burnt up towns and cities, and got into his hands the most commodious places, and overcame and put to flight no small number of his enemies. But specifically took he advantage of the night for such privy attempts, insomuch that the bruit of his manliness was spread everywhere. God gave him what he needed to do what God wanted him to do. Nicanor prepares to fight and take Jewish captives. So when Philip saw that this man increased little by little, and that things prospered with him still more and more, he wrote unto Ptolemy, the governor of Cilicia and Phoenicia, to yield more aid to the king's affairs. Then forthwith choosing Nicanor, the son of Patroclus, one of his special friends, he sent him with no fewer than 20,000 of all nations under him, to root out the whole generation of the Jews. And with him he joined also Gorgias, a captain who in matters of war and great experience. So Nicanor undertook to make so much money of the captive Jews as should defray the tribute of 2,000 talents, which the king was to pay to the Romans. Evil is just evil. Y'all see what's going on in the world today. Terrorizing and tormenting innocent people so you can have more money and more luxuries. Y'all, history repeats itself. Wherefore immediately he sent to the cities upon the seacoast, proclaiming a sale of the captive Jews, and promising that they should have 80 bodies for 1 talent, not expecting the vengeance that was to follow upon him from the Almighty God. Y'all, let evil be evil. Let them do their wicked ways. We cannot stop them, but we can pray. We can pray to an almighty God that is going to have vengeance. He is the one that revenges. And man, he does it mightily. And this is what these people did. Judas encourages and arranges his men. Now when word was brought up unto Judas of Nicanor's coming, and he had imparted unto those that were with him that the army was at hand, they that were fearful and distrusted the justice of God fled and conveyed themselves away. Others sold all that they had left, and withal besought to the Lord to deliver them, being sold by the wicked Nicanor before they met together. And if not for their own sakes, yet for the covenants he had made with their fathers, and for his holy and glorious name's sake, by which they were called. So Maccabees called his men together unto the number of 6,000, and exhorted them not to be stricken with terror of the enemy, nor to fear the great multitude of the heathen, who came wrongly against them, but to fight manfully, and to set before their eyes the injury that they had unjustly done to the holy place, and the cruel handling of the city, whereof they made a mockery, and also the taking away of the government of their forefathers. For they said, He trusts in their weapons and boldness, but our confidence is in the Almighty God, who at a beck can cast down both them that come against us, and also all the world. Moreover, he recounted unto them what helps their forefathers had found, and how they were delivered, when under Sennacherib 185,000 perished. And he told them of the battle that they had in Babylon with the Galatians, how they came but 8,000 in all to the business, with 4,000 Macedonians, and that the Macedonians being perplexed, the 8,000 destroyed 120,000 because of the help that they had from heaven, and so received a great booty. It's not the same booty we think of. Bounty, treasures, money. Thus when he had made them bold with these words, and ready to die for the laws in the country, he divided his army into 4 parts, and joined with himself his own brethren, leaders of each band, to wit, Simon and Joseph and Jonathan, giving each one 1,500 men. And he appointed Eleazar to read the holy book. And when he had given them this watchword, the help of God, himself leading the first band, he joined a battle with Nicanor. Judas defeats Nicanor. Nicanor, I guess, however you want to pronounce it. And by the help of the Almighty, they slew above 9,000 of their enemies, and wounded and made the most part of Nicanor's host, and so put all to flight, and took their money that came to buy them, and pursued them far, but lacking time they returned. Y'all, for it was the day before the Sabbath, and therefore they would no longer pursue them. They stopped for battle for the Sabbath day. Y'all want to talk about some obedient people in our history. Wow. So when they had gathered their armor together and spoiled their enemies, they occupied themselves about the Sabbath, yielding exceeding praise and thanks to the Lord, who had preserved them unto that day, which was the beginning of mercy, distilling upon them. Y'all, we need the Sabbath day. These men, in a ferocious battle, knew they needed it too. There's something that happens. There's a cloud of praise over you. There's a cloud of peace. Y'all, there's a reason why he gave us a Sabbath. Not to be a lawgiver and to make us do something, but because he knows what we need. And we need a day. Even in our simple American spoiled lives, we need him every Sabbath day. Just like these valiant men needed him. Amazing stories, y'all. And after the Sabbath, when they had given part of the spoils to the maimed and the widows and orphans, the residue they divided among themselves and their servants. When this was done, and they had made a common supplication, they besought the merciful Lord to be reconciled with his servants forever. They just wanted to be reconciled unto God, y'all. The feast of dedication in the making, y'all. It's very important. Very important. Jewish victories over Timotheus and Bacchides. Moreover, of these that were Timotheus and Bacchides, who fought against them, they slew about 20,000, and very easily got high in strongholds, and divided among themselves many spoils more, and made the maimed orphans, widows, yea, and the aged also, equal in spoils with themselves. And when they had gathered their armor together, they laid them up all carefully in convenient places, and the remnant of the spoils they brought to Jerusalem. They slew also Philarchus, that wicked person who was with Timotheus, and had annoyed the Jews in many ways. Furthermore, at such time as they kept the feast for the victory in their country, they burnt Callisthenes, that had set fire upon the holy gates, who had fled into a little house, and so received a reward meet for his wickedness. Alright. Nicanor returns to Antioch. As for that most ungracious Nicanor, who had brought 1,000 merchants to buy the Jews, he was through the help of the Lord brought down by them, of whom he made least account, and putting off his glorious apparel, and discharging his company, he came like a fugitive servant through the midland and to Antioch, having a great dishonor, for that his host was destroyed. Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute, by means of the captives in Jerusalem, told abroad that the Jews had God to fight for them, and therefore they could not be hurt, because they followed the laws that he gave them. Amazing man, amazing stories, y'all. I'm telling you, this is testimony for my own life. Just be obedient. I'm telling you, God is going to take care of the big things. He is going to establish you. Just like you see these men. This night is so emotional. I'm going to try to finish here after a few minutes, but these stories are just so, I am getting exactly what I need for this feast, y'all. The Feast of Dedication. This chapter should be an explanation of the Feast of Dedication. Y'all, these men dedicated their lives to God and defended their people. May we have men that are rising up, that are going to be like Judas Maccabees and all these boys, and stand up. Stand up for God and stand up for their people. Amazing words, y'all. We'll be back in a little while with 9 and 10. Blessings.